Hey John, nice to see this essay from you. Let's take a look at what you've written here. The topic is international marketing. You need to discuss both views and give your opinion. Let's see what you said. Global trading in the country has been the major topic. Few think they are controlling and monarchy. The whole other markets, on the other hand, other counterpart believes they are developing the country by their innovative ideas, traditions, and increase the economy of the country along with creative educational system. In this essay, we are going to discuss both the views. Okay, so John, look what's happening here. A few things, really. You've done a decent job of having the structure of your introduction correct, but there are a couple of major problems here. The first problem is that you never actually give your opinion. You only tell us that you're going to discuss both views, but if you look here again, it says give your opinion. So when it tells you that, and what every essay basically in IELTS will give you a command. It'll tell you what it wants you to do. So whatever it tells you to do, you really need to deal with that in the introduction, okay? This way you make sure that your position is clear throughout the response. And you didn't do that here. So you should have really said which side you supported. That's the first thing. The second thing is that there is some grammar and some vocabulary No, let me try that again. There are some grammar and vocabulary issues happening in this essay that create some problems. I'm not really sure what you're talking about, and they're creating a strain. So there is inaccuracy. That's what I really want to say. So there's some inaccuracy that we really need to take a look at, okay? So look at this. Global trading in the country has been the major topic. There's not just one country, and it hasn't been the topic in just one country. So clearly you have an issue here with some of your articles, when to use the. So that's something I need you to revise. So let's try it again. Global trading has been the major topic in many countries. That would have been okay. However, even still, global trading is probably not the best word to use here, because global international marketing is something somewhat different than global trading. Okay, it might fall under globalization and international trade, but it's not the same thing, so you can't use them as synonyms. All right, so I had no idea what you were talking about here. Few think they are controlling and monarchy, the whole other markets on the other hand. I really had no idea what this sentence meant. So it just absolutely created a strain for me. And what makes it worse is that it's very, very, very long. Look at this. It goes into, it's 5 lines, okay? It's 4 and something. So that's a problem. It's unclear. I really don't know what you're trying to say. There's problems with your grammar. There's problems with your word choices. And so you need to really take that sentence again, break it down, and rewrite it in a way that is that it's clearer. Okay? Okay, and then I didn't really love this. We are going to discuss both views. It just sounds a little informal. So you could have said in this essay, both views will be discussed. All right, when you use the passive tense like that, the passive voice rather, forgive me, it sounds more formal and just more appropriate. So let's move on and see what you wrote in your body paragraphs. It is true that people think the markets are ruled by the foreign investors and they are overtaking the major business of the country, whereas these traders I don't know what this is supposed to be, these traders have been dominating the country's major shares. Beyond this, they also believe this is more beneficial to the international merchants rather than the local marketers. There were recent stats suggest that the economy of the country is rapidly going low. All right. Again, the same things I saw in your introduction, I'm seeing again here in your body paragraph. So basically it falls under, it's mistakes that really affect all the 4 of the criteria. So task achievement, coherence and cohesion, grammar, and lexical resources as well. So let's look at it again. It is true that people think the markets are ruled by the foreign investors and they are overtaking the major businesses of the country. I didn't understand the next part of the sentence. Maybe a full stop here would have been better. What does this mean? Whereas these traders have been dominating the country's major shares. It just doesn't make sense. I'm not really sure what the meaning here is, what you're trying to tell us. So it just creates incoherence, and it doesn't feel like you're really developing the topic. Okay, Beyond this, they, who is they? The people? You have to be careful here because you've used so many nouns here. So it becomes very unclear what this they refers to. So beyond this, you could have said it is also believed that this is more beneficial to the international merchants. Who are these international merchants? Is it the foreign investors here? Are we supposed to understand that international merchants and foreign investors are synonyms? Because they're not. A merchant is not the same thing as an investor. So you can see that this is really creating a lot of confusion. And then you never really tell us why something is more beneficial to this group of people rather than this group of people. So there's no development here. There's no extension. There's no illustration, no example. So we're really left with a lot of questions here. There were recent stats. Stats is a very informal way of saying statistics. What you could have said instead was research. So how about there was recent research suggesting that the economy of countries, which countries, I don't know which one, are rapidly going low. Very informal, very grammatically kind of like elementary level. So I'm kind of confused here. I really don't know what you're trying to say. The economy is going low. As a result of what? So there's very little extension here in your arguments. All right, but let's move on to the next paragraph. There is also, however, a strong argument supporting the investments from the other countries. According to these people, which people? You're talking about investments and you're talking about other countries. You haven't mentioned people. So be careful about this, okay? According to maybe this argument, that might have made more sense. So according to this argument, the foreign trading techniques have allowed the country, again, the country is wrong. I think you just mean countries in general, to develop internationally, and we were able to produce more income, full stop. In addition to this, comma, there is a vast increase of education values and innovative ideas. All right, in fact, is 2 words and it doesn't belong here. How about this? Which brought a plethora of traditions to the country which are very useful to the upcoming generation. How about some examples of this? What are you talking about? Maybe give us some illustrations, some ideas, some support for your thoughts. There is ample evidence without and, because evidence is uncountable, suggesting that, no comma, employment has increased after the international trading, and in turn increased the currency value of the country. Okay, I think you've done a better job in this paragraph, but there's still a lot of question marks. There's still some areas that need a little work, some grammar that needs to be corrected, and some more development of your ideas, okay? In my opinion, as a developing country, this foreign trading should be allowed with conditions rather than completely restricting, rather than be completely restricted. They should be regulated with the country norms in such a way that the country's economy should be beneficial. No, should be benefited would be more appropriate here. Okay, obviously there are some issues here. I think I've been pretty clear about what they are throughout this essay. Grammar, some vocabulary, but certainly coherence and cohesion, as well as task achievement, okay? So you're looking at essentially all 4 of the grading criteria that need some work here. Now I see here that you've written a task 1 for us, so let's see what you wrote for the English and Homestay. Dear Ben, I'm writing to let you know that I am John. I will be visiting your family for the English and Homestay program. I feel very excited to be with you all soon. So, I would like to know a few details regarding the same, which is beneficial to me as this will be my first visit to UK. All right, let's talk about this. It's grammar. It's grammar that's absolutely affecting this. So let's see what you could have done here. Now, apart from grammar, there's one other thing that I want to talk about, and it's the formality of this. Now, you've never met this person before, okay? It's a host family that will be hosting you for this program. You've never met the person before you or the family, and so you really want to be more formal rather than informal. Therefore, I really have to disagree with the choice of writing Dear Ben. It should be Dear Mr. Washington or Dear Mr. Smith or whoever. And then The rest of this needs to just be at a little higher level. So let's try it. Dear Mr. Washington, I'm writing to let you know that I am John and I will be visiting your family for the English and Homestay program. And this just felt really very basic to me. I feel very excited to be with you all soon. Instead, you could have just taken like a sort of standard expression here, just like something like, I would like to thank you for agreeing to host me for the duration of the program. So that would be a nice expression here. Now here, again, it just felt a little choppy, like you just kind of jumped from one idea to the next. So I'd like to fix that. Rather than saying I would like to know few details, few, remember, means almost none. So let's change that and say instead, prior to my arrival in the UK, I would like to ask you a few questions regarding my stay. Okay, so I think that's a nicer way of saying this. All right, now, next, we don't say, let me explain you. When you say, let me do this, it just sounds a little bit like a command, which doesn't sound particularly formal or polite in English, so we have to change that. But other than that, grammatically, it's a mistake. So let's try to change some of the language around so it sounds a little better. I would like to explain that during my stay in the UK, I would like to be sure to follow all the traditions and rules in your country. So a lot of this needs to be corrected. It's not I want, which is very informal, okay, but I would like. All right. Moreover, I am a foodie, so I would like to taste a variety of dishes. I need all the details. Now, here you have two separate sentences in essence, so you can't just connect them with a comma. You have to do something else. You could have said, moreover, as I am a foodie, I would like to taste a variety of dishes, so I would like all the details regarding the types of cuisine available in your area. Okay, clearly there was something missing here. Now, capital L, lastly, comma, could, because could is more formal than can. Lastly, could you provide all the emergency numbers which you follow in the UK? And this should have a question mark because it's a direct question. No comma here. Would you kindly be so generous as to give the information which I have asked for? Comma, question mark here. I know I have asked for many details, all right? Not too many, which sounds negative, but I know I have asked for many details. But this was just to make sure I have a planned program when I reach the UK. Full stop here. Thank you for your consideration. Again, not thanks, which is just too informal. It should be thank you. So thank you for your consideration. Now, yours faith, and this should be a full stop. Yours faithfully is something we use only when we do not know the name of the person we are writing to. You do know the name. You called him Ben. I already have suggested this should have been Dear Mr. Washington, or Dear Mr. Worthington, or Dear Mr. Smith, or Dear Mr. Jones, or Brown, or whatever. Okay? Or Brown family, or Smith family, or Worthington family, or whatever. All right? So, but yeah, not Ben, which just sounds, like I said, very informal. So since you know the name of the person you're writing to, it should be yours sincerely. Okay? So this is something that really needs quite a bit of work. I really think that you would benefit from the online course. I think that because there are errors in your writing that cover all of the criteria, I think you would really benefit from the structure that the course provides. That's something I really want you to look into, okay? Please do look into it. I think you'll find it'll benefit you immensely. So I look forward to seeing more of your essays. Wish you lots of good luck and look forward to seeing more of your writing in the future.